Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to talk with you about my 2021 book reading goals. All right, so I will be doing a wrap up of my 2020 reading goals in a couple of weeks. But I wanted to get this video out there for you guys so that you guys know what my goals for the upcoming year are going to be. So 2020 kind of threw us all for a loop. And one of the things that I learned about myself this year is that I like what I like. And I'm not going to make myself like things that I already know I don't like. So the goal for this year is to focus in and hone in on some of the things that I have really enjoyed that I maybe don't do enough of, and kind of make it a goal to do more of that, but also to let go of some of the expectations that I have of things that I should be doing or things that most people think that I would like to be doing, but that I just don't really care about. I read this past year the book The Lazy Genius Way by Kendra Adachi, and her principle is to be a genius about the things that matter and lazy about the things that don't. I had to think about the way to say that. And I really want to embrace that this year. I want to focus on what matters most to me. So, for example, last year, one of my goals was to read off my shelves. The fact of the matter is, I love my library and I enjoy reading the books on my shelves, and I 100% will continue to do that. But I love my library and I don't want to limit myself to reading books that are only on my shelves or that are the majority are on my shelves. I cannot talk today. I want to focus on doing things that bring me joy. So as I was going through making this list, I was thinking about what makes me happy. Middle grade books make me happy. So do I want to limit the amount of middle grade books I read? No. Do I want to make myself read books that I just really don't care that much about? No, I don't. So you'll notice as we get into this that some of these books are specific, some of them are general, but overall, I just want to focus on the things that make my heart happy and bring me joy and that are important to me. So let's just dive right in. I have 10 goals, which seems like a lot, but I'm happy with what I have here. In all transparency, the reason I have 10 goals is because when I was putting together my bullet journal, that's the way that I ended up with 10 spots, and I just need to fill all of them. So I made myself 10 goals. So let's go. All right, so goal number 1. I am not putting my Goodreads, like how many books I want to read this year, goal on this list. The reason for that is that I always meet my goal. And when I do meet it, I typically up the goal. I'll just increase it. And so I kind of know how many books I can read in a year, and I don't find value in challenging myself to read books, a number of books. However, this year I would like to read slower and potentially read less. And that seems kind of counterproductive to BookTube and just reading in general, like not reading in general, but to like meeting goals. But this past year, like right now, I'm at 175 books for the year. Now, I read a lot of middle grade and I listen to a lot of audiobooks, so that accounts for a lot of it. And I always put that caveat in there. However, I have gotten to the point with my reading where as soon as I finish a book, I'm on to the next thing and on to the next thing. And I'm just constantly just grinding through books. And I want to give myself, and I want to focus on giving myself the opportunity to just sit in a book and marinate in it and just appreciate it and not have to worry about rushing through books just to get them done, but to just appreciate the reading experience more, to slow down my audiobooks so that I'm really retaining and really getting the most out of the reading experience. To not feel like I have to rush to get done by a certain time. That's something that I think that I've been doing too much over the past couple of years. I was last night, I don't remember, whatever day it is today. But I was sitting in on one of Krista, my friend Krista from Books and Jams, her live videos. And she did one with her family. And her brother said something that really resonated with me. And he said that with his Goodreads goal, if he finds himself getting to his goal like he's ahead of his goal, he will make a point of taking a step back and investing in other things instead of his reading, because he doesn't want reading to overtake his life. And I really see the value in that. Over the past couple of years, I've really allowed reading to just kind of run rampant. I kind of have no other hobbies. I just read all the time. And I see the value in taking a step back and maybe going and watching a movie, or binge watching a TV show instead of reading a book, or investing in a craft or a other hobby, or whatever it is. But that's something that I want to work on this year. So, all right. My next goal is to read 12 books out loud to my kids this year. So with homeschooling, we make it a point to read aloud every night, and we've gotten in a really good habit of doing that. However, I know as the summer comes and as next fall comes with the school year, we kind of tend to let go of some of those things. And so I just want to try to get through one book a month with all of the kids together. The 3-year-old doesn't always participate, but the older 3 do. And I really want to read at least one book a month with my kids. All right. Next, I would like to read 20 nonfiction books. So this past year I had a goal to read 10 nonfiction books, and I blew that out of the water. So this year I would like to read 20 nonfiction books. I don't always gravitate towards nonfiction, but when I do, I really enjoy it. I love it. And so I definitely want to be picking up nonfiction this year. Next is, so what was that? 1, 2, 3? Is that 3? So my fourth goal is that I would like to read 5 thrillers this year. I always say I don't read thrillers because I don't like to be scared, but I read a thriller this past year and I loved it. 5 is not that many, and I think that if I gave thrillers a chance, or suspense, I should amend this and say I would like to read 5 thrillers / suspense books, because I really think that I could enjoy them as long as they're not too gory. But I think I could enjoy them, and so I would like to try. That's a genre that I would really like to try this year. All right, number 5 is that I would like to read 5 tomes this year. So for me, and I think most people, a tome is anything that's over 500 pages. Along with this whole like reading slower and just marinating in books thing, is that I don't really pick up long books because it's a huge time commitment, and I look at my shelves and I'm like, I could read these 5 books or this 1 book. And I always pick the 5 shorter books. So I want to read 5 tomes this year, whatever they are. I haven't figured out yet which ones I want to focus on, but I just want to give big books a chance, because I think that there's so many really good ones out there that I just don't give a chance to because they're so long. But yeah, so that's another one that I just want to try. And then the last, I think this is the last one that has a number attached to it. Yeah, the last one. So number 6 is that I would like to read 5 middle grade classics. So last year I had a goal to read 5 classics. This year I want to read 5 middle grade classics. I own a ton of middle grade classics. I would like to read some of them. So 5 middle grade classics. All right. Another goal that I have made for myself is that I would like to do quarterly unhauls. So I don't know if I'm going to film them yet. I tend to kind of purge my shelves occasionally here and there, but I have been bringing so many books into my house and I am out of shelf space. So I've actually been moving books around and like making my kids store books other places to like commandeer some of their shelf space. And so I just don't have room to house books. I am a book maximalist. I love owning books. I own books that I've read and I did not like. Why I own them, I do not know. I love sitting in a room full of books, and it's something that brings me happiness. And so it's hard for me to let go of books, but I need to do this. I need to just, even if I haven't read them, let go of them. And so I would like to do quarterly unhauls. All right. So that was number 7, I believe. So my last 3 goals all have to do with book series. So last year I read the Anne of Green Gables series, and I reread Harry Potter. And in rereading Harry Potter, I really enjoyed rereading a book series. And so I wanted to do that again this year because I really loved that. And I don't really, like, I always say this, I don't reread books. I just don't. And so I have never reread some of my favorite books. And so this year, the series that I have picked out to reread is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I actually brought them all up here. So we have Cinder, we have Scarlet, we have Cress, and we have Winter. And then we also have Fairest, which is like a in-between book. It's a villain origin story. And then there's also Stars Above, which is a short story compilation, and then 2 graphic novels that kind of came after the fact. And so I have all these books. These are all sci-fi fairy tale retellings. They're YA. I listened to them many moons ago, and I loved them so much. This is still, I always say to this day, my favorite book series. Very random for me because I don't read a lot of YA. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but I loved this series so much. So I'm going to be rereading that this year. And then I also would like to read through the entire, hold on, let me get it up here. I don't have all of them. But I would like to read through the entire Artemis Fowl series. So I have read book 1 already. I read that this past year. I put book 2 on a couple of different TBRs and never got around to it. So book 2 is the Arctic Incident. And then I have the next 3 books, and I have no idea which order they go in. But I have The Lost Colony, The Opal Deception, and The Eternity Code. And I think there are 3 more maybe that I don't own yet. So I need to get my hands on them. But I want to read through this entire series. I loved the first book in the series. It's a middle grade series. It'll go really fast. I know it will. And so I don't think this will be an issue to get through this. But that's my middle grade series that I want to get through this year. And then my last goal is, I kept going back and forth. Do I want to say I want to finish the series? Do I want to just do 1 book? How many books do I want to commit to? I don't know. For now, I'm going to say that I want to start the Outlander series. These books are chunks. They are thick. I contemplated doing a read-along for this series and doing like 1 book every 2 months. If that is something that you would be interested in, let me know. Because if enough people are interested in it, I might still do that. But I think like 2 months for each book would be a good spacing for it because these are really long. They're very time-consuming books to get through. I just have a feeling I'm gonna love them, but this falls into an example of one of the books that I haven't really picked up because it's so big and it's gonna be such a huge time investment, but I think I'm gonna love it. I did start this book. I got this far into it while I was on vacation, and I absolutely loved what I read, but I never finished it. That was in July. So I want to start it. I would really ideally, I would like to get through at least 3 books in the Outlander series this year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But those are my 10 goals that I have for this year. I know I said something about potentially doing a read-along for Outlander, but Artemis Fowl and the Lunar Chronicles, if you were interested in doing like a buddy read, like a read-along, whatever for either of those series, let me know. That's something I'm definitely open to, potentially like doing a Discord server forum and just kind of opening it up, but only if there are going to be people that participate. So if that's something that you're going to be into, let me know and I can see what I can do about that. But yeah, so these are my 10 goals for the year. I would love any comments that you have about them. Leave them down below in the comment section. And yeah, let me know what some of your goals are. If you've made a goals video, if you have a channel and you've made a goals video, link it down below and I would love to check it out. I love seeing what everybody's bookish goals are for the year. But yeah, and if you don't have a channel, have you made any reading goals for the year? Let me know that as well. So other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.